we go to, if you thought it was bad, no, it's much, much worse.
What?
Great Britain.
Fuck.
In a newly released report, a 219-page report, it details that up to 250,000 young women and girls were raped.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
By Muslim grooming gangs.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.
And what makes it worse, if there is such a thing, is that Great Britain knew about it.
Sheer fucking hubris.
I'm Giles Berganzo, and this, some as young as 11.
I want him dead. I want his family dead.
11.
Everyone!
But it's what's next. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Giles Berganzo, what's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this day. Of course, it's Thursday. Well, this has been out for at least 48 hours. And kind of surprised that I didn't do a story about this, but this is something that you really had to get yourself prepared for, because the amount of info and the amount of horror that is in this thing is just beyond measure. Well, what am I talking about? A newly released report, a 219-page report of Great Britain, shows that up to 250,000 young women and girls were raped and groomed by these Muslim gangs. And yet, if you ask Keir Starmer, wonderful Queer Starmer, there's nothing to see here. We don't know what you're talking about, as the whole place is burning down a la Flying Drebin behind him. This thing is off the charts, and it's absolutely disgusting. If, like I said in my intro, if you thought it was bad, no, it's much, much, much worse. And here we go. This comes out of the Gateway Pundit. Britain's grape gang scandal require report, a national reckoning, and a warning for us here in America. The 219-page Grape Gang Inquiry Report, released June 16th, was led by Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe and survivor advocate Sammy Woodhouse. Funded by more than 20,000 British supporters, this investigation reveals a major failure in child protection. It documents a systematic grooming, rape, trafficking, and abuse of at least 250,000 vulnerable white British girls, mostly in Muslim Pakistani gangs throughout the UK. But Muslim is the religion of peace, right? The report's main finding is clear. Organized groups with 87 to 95% of convicted offenders have Muslim names, shock and awe, mostly a Pakistani background. Well, that's a little bit of a shocker. I thought it was more well-rounded. Background targeting girls as young as 11. 11. From unstable homes and care systems. Groomers use gifts, alcohol, drugs, attention to lure victims, and then took them to their various locations for repeated SA. They filmed the abuse. They filmed it. Holy cow. For blackmail, trafficking victims, use pregnancy for control, force conversions, and treat girls inhumanely. These patterns appeal at least 149 local authority districts, nearly 40% of the UK, showing the problem is widespread and has been happening since the 1950s. Not during Keir Starmer's time, the 1950s. When the Queen Mother was around. But then again, I don't expect the royal family to know anything about it, because if they did, they probably wouldn't have done anything anyway. Of course, this was Rupert Lowe, MP, the Grape of Britain. Grape gangs have operated in at least 149 local authority districts across the UK. Suspected, confirmed. Everything in the red is legit. Survivor stories such as Chloe's, who was, we'll call her Chloe, was abused by hundreds of mainly Pakistani Muslim men, trafficked across the country, forcibly converted, and left with a lifelong trauma and child born from grape, at least at the heart of the report. Or at the heart of the report, shall I say. Parents and whistleblowers also described the horrors. Girls are missing for days, 13-year-olds with STIs, and repeated failures by institutions. Again, shock and awe. The report shows that institutions fail completely. Police ignored reports, destroyed evidence, released offenders, and treated victims as prostitutes. Social services put children in places where they were trafficked, worked against protective parents, and punished whistleblowers. They were all in it. All these motherfuckers were in on it. The NHS The NHS treated injuries and pregnancies, but sent girls back to their abusers. Yes, you're fine now, but be on your merry way. Schools and taxing license laws help these networks operate. The main reason for these failures was a deep fear of being called a racist or Islamophobe. Efforts to keep, quote, community cohesion and win votes from Muslim communities were put ahead of child safety because that's always the case. The Labour Party blocked investigations and hid ethnicity data, while the Conservatives did not enforce proper record keeping. Again, more shocking. This is going to be an ongoing trend here. Even London leadership under Sadiq Khan denied the problem despite evidence from Metropolitan Police. Yes, the City of London, who elected a Muslim mayor, turned a blind eye to all the nonsense and shenanigans that were going on in his own town. I am absolutely stunned and flabbergasted. The report does not hold back in its analysis of demographics, culture, religion. Honor and shame traditions led to non-Muslim girls being seen as sexual property. The report points to 8 aspects of Islamic theology, such as supremacism, Walabar, hostility towards non-Muslims, male dominance, no set age of consent, fitna, sex slavery teachings, and the humilitude as reinforcement of these attitudes. I don't know what some of these things are, but I know they are all pieces of shit. Anyway, the report says these issues must be discussed openly. The report offers clear recommendations for the future. It calls for a Childhood Sexual Protection Act to establish key principles. First, victim first justice, national independent sexual violence advisors, trauma forced in courts, statutory weight for victim statements, zero tolerance sentencing, life imprisonment with a 50-year minimum tariff for ringleaders and 25 years for participants, aggravating factors for religious, racial motivation, trafficking, and organized networks, cumulative, not concurrent sentences, and a public referendum on death penalty for the worst cases. No. Just eliminate all that. Death to all. Cultural and democratic realism. Excuse me. Mandatory recording of offender ethnicity and religion. Open examination of patterns without political censorship. Deportation and border security. Automatic removal of foreign and dual national offenders and complicit family members via restrictions on high-risk countries. Family empowerment. Place protective families, especially fathers, at the heart of the safeguarding, with penalties for authorities who undermine them. Institutional accountability. Liability for officials paralyzed by racism fears. Compensation schemes funded by negligent parties or perpetrator assets. Prevention. Dedicated task forces oversees victim recovery, closure of complicit institutions, and multi-agency overhauls. This is not just a British issue. This is a serious warning for America. As the U.S. faces challenges with with border security, migration, and cultural integration, Britain's experience shows the dangers when political correctness clashes with demographic realities. Multicultural policies brought in honor and shame traditions that led to abuse of local girls. Leaders in both the UK and the US need to put child protection ahead of political interests. The Grape Gang Inquiry Report is a call to action. The full testimony should be released, and civil and criminal cases must follow. For Americans, the report highlights the need for secure borders, strong expectations for integration, and a firm defense on Western values. Britain's daughters deserve better, and so do America's. This is just a taste of what that 219-page report entails. I've read some of it. It is a horror show. It is absolutely a horror show, and it is something that those with strong stomachs may be able to withstand, but those of weak, tendencies, yeah, you may want to stay away from this. But the fact of the matter is that this needs to be exposed. This needs to be read aloud out in every single college, university, dorm, in every high school, and every, I hate to say it, but elementary as well, because they're not going after the 30 and 40-year-old women. They're going after those as young as 11 years old, prepubescent. They're going after them to make them their slaves, to destroy them. And how do you destroy monsters? You kill them. You end them all. This is what you do. You do not imprison them. You do not, you do not rehab them. You destroy them. And this is a perfect example of why America needs to toughen up. Trump needs to get involved in this. Vance needs to get involved in this. Hexeth, Homeland Security, everyone involved needs to get this report. Read it amongst their, amongst the administration. Those need to read it amongst their peers. because shit like this is already occurring. Gee, I wonder how Epic City in Texas is going to look. Because nothing ever bad could ever happen there. Now, could it? Now, when you have someone like Queer Starmer, who has been told over and over and over again that this shit is going down under his watch, and yet he turns a blind eye, a deaf ear, plays the Schultz role. I know nothing. You would have thought that the excuse me, that the Tommy Robinson, unite the kingdom would have been a little bit more forceful, would have done a little bit more, would have been more thorough in what's, in showing Keir Starmer what's going on in his own damn country. No, Shere Khan, Sadiq Khan, I'm gonna say Shere Khan, Sadiq Khan, yeah, he's been turning a blind eye for decades. I'm sorry, for years. He's not that old. But when you have a report going back as to the 1950s that this shit has been going down, my God. And yet, how many of those liberals and rhinos in this country are saying, report, your silly report, that means nothing. That's over there in Great Britain. That's never going to come here to America. You sure about that? And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And let me say this, is that for those who are strong-willed, who want to eyeball this report seriously, being deadly serious, take a look at it and you'll see the horrors for yourself. But then again, that's just me. And we'll see you next time. Peace.